Right. Okay. Let me actually. Right. So let me go through this and finish this. There was one lecture earlier on I did where I explained you the difference between list and dictionary, and this is one of the dictionary that we did in the last lecture. So in this lecture now, I'm gonna move on and basically explain you how you can actually pick up data from a file, put it into the list, and then search through it, right? And the same thing we need to do for dictionary as well. So pick up the data from the file, put it in the dictionary, and search for it. This is what the question number 4 in the exam, final exam, is going to be all about. So let's get started. So to help you understand first, let's slowly build your concept. So this is something a dictionary, a double dimension dictionary, which I just let me actually do some notes taking here. So I can actually, here you go, I need this. Sorry, here you go. So this is a dictionary Y, right? This is a Y dictionary, and this is this is a double dimension dictionary. So you need to make sure you have, by the way, just want to confirm one thing. If you put here comma, right? If you put here comma, it become a tuple. So you need to make sure no commas here, right? I mean, you want to get an error, but that's become a tuple. So no commas here. You see there are no commas because it's a double dimension dictionary. So this is the dictionary name. This is one is basically key for this dictionary, and the 2 is key for this dictionary. So if you want to ask the user enter a key, you want to search the data for, we'll write that small program. So what we do is we say think of this key as a user ID. So maybe we can call it even, you can have 1 2, or you can have like this, right? 001 001, or 002. You could have it whatever key you want, like. So maybe this is student ID, and we want to make it like this, 001 and 002. And now what I want to do is I want to ask user ID. I want to ask the user to input user entry. I want to say enter the user ID. So then we print student information, enter user ID, and whatever the user ID is entered, we check if that user ID actually exists in this dictionary or not. Because you see here, this is the user ID, right? This is user ID. This is string, not a. You can have integer as well, no problem. But this is, we're gonna keep it string. We're gonna get it from the user as a string, and then we're gonna take it from there. So first thing we're gonna do is check if user ID is in this dictionary Y. Why the name of the dictionary Y? How do you know? Look at this. This is dictionary Y, all right? Now, next thing we're gonna do is, if yes, then what do you wanna do? You wanna call it info. You wanna say put the information in info. Info for what? Y sub user ID. Simple. User underscore ID. That's it. You see here, what you did, you basically ask the user to enter an ID here, right? Ask the user to enter an ID. This one, user enter an ID. You put basically that, and you check if this ID exists in this Y dictionary. Now, if user put 001, it exists. If user put 002, it exists. But if user put 003, it does not exist, right? So if it exists, then you say info is equal to Y sub user ID, like this, right? Basically now what happens is, whatever the user ID user enter, if user enter let's say 001, this info, this whole info will be put into info. If user enter 002, this whole info will be put into this info. So what I want to do here now is I want to move forward. What should happen? If that is the case, then print, right, the whole info. How do you want to print? We just want to say print the name, right? And the name would be comma, and it will be Y sub name, right? Because that's what it is in the key, right? And keep here name. Then we say comma, after name we want to put marks, okay? And then we just want to put this one space. You can put space here as well, like this. And with the comma, I want to do Y sub marks. You see here, these marks, this one, right? And I put it into this thing like this. The final one, we're gonna do Y. Lost the final one, subjects, right? You can say subject. Yeah, you can do like this one as well. You don't have to do whole subject. Yeah, but when you do this Y sub right, like this, y sub, you need to do the whole subject because it has to match what is there. Subject is subject here. You see this one here, this is subject, right? So you want to do this whole subject thing, right? And I want to do a little bit here like this so that you can actually see this. All right, so this is what I did. So if this exists, if the user ID which user enter exists, print this, right? So let's run this now. So if I run this here, sorry, here we go, yeah, and let's say here, user ID I put 001, user 001 exists. Where is 001? Look at this, this is 001. So it will print the name Abdullah, marks 80, and subject EE101. So let's see if it does, right? Here we go. Oh, I got an error. So what is the error? Okay, there must be some comma or something. Let's read it. It says line 18. What is the print? Blah blah blah. What is the error? Name. It's the error is with the name. Woohoo! Name. Key error is name. Let's see what is the problem with the name. So comma. Okay, marks. Okay. This is marks. Then where subject, and why this subject, and there's a name. What is it, the name? I can't understand. Hold on, let me see this. What is the problem there? Oh, sorry, my bad. It's not y, it's info. See here, this is info, so you can't say y here because you pick up this user ID, put into info, not y, it's info. Sorry, my bad. Here we go, y, and you won't get error now. Info. This is info, by the way, not y. All right, let's run it again. And this time we're gonna do here 001. Oh, here we go, Abdullah. If I say 002, look at the 002. What is 002? Madrasa, right? I run this and I say 002, and that's Madrasa. What about 003? 003 does not exist, right? But it should give a message, right, at the end. What message should it get? It should give you a message else. Okay, it should say else. Here it should say print a message saying the user ID does not exist. All right, now if I do the 003, it says the user ID does not exist. 003, user ID does not. See here, user ID does not exist. But if I do 001, Abdullah, and 002 is Madrasa. Okay, and this way, if I have 003, 004, I can have all of it, right? I can have more like this, 003, 004, 005, 006, I can keep doing it. Okay, I can keep adding these. Obviously I have to first define a dictionary which is empty, and then I can keep doing it. Now let's move on, do the same thing and pick up data from a file and then print it, right? This is actually the similar question going to be in the exam, right? So let's do that, what is going to be in the exam. So we change this one, right? We change this one and make a new program from here. What was the file here? Location, was it? Yeah, the file was location. Let me see the location file, text file. I need a text file location. You see here, this is a location file. So it's got a location file, got a date. In the actual exam, I'll give you some similar file like this, right? I'll give you in the question number 4 some file like this, and then obviously data will be different, right? But you have to do the similar function which I'm going to do now. So in this file there is a location, date, there is a time, there is a temperature and location, right? So what we want to do is we want to give the location, ask the user location, and print these 4 things. So what we want to do is we want to pick up this data, and every single of it we want to save it as a dictionary element, right? And our key is location, because we want to pick up the location, ask the user to enter a location, and we want to give that location, temperature, and everything else, right? So your key become the location, which means here this will become location, right? London and all that, right? So we want to pick up that and we want to add it. So let's start one by one. Let's open the file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, right? I'm going to delete this and I'm going to keep it y, no problem, right? And what I want to do is I want to first open my file, right? What is the file name? File name is file is equal to open, file name is location, right? Location.txt text, right? That's the file name. You can put there or if you like. If you don't wanna, that's fine. Okay. Now, because I don't wanna hard code the, I wanna pick up the data from the file and put into the y. Previously we put hard coded the data, but now we're gonna pick it from location. Now, what would I do? I say for line in file, right? And then first thing I wanna do is I wanna pick up each line, right? Line dot strip, which means I wanna remove from the line any spaces. So what I want to do is I want to pick up this line first, then this line, then this line, then this line, and then this line. And I want to put every, because they are separated from comma, so I want to put every single of these into a separate variable, right? So this is the date, this is the time, this is temperature, and this is location. So what I want to do is I want to actually here put them in a separate location, right? So now I want to do is if line, which means if the line is not empty, if line mean if the line is not empty, right? If line is empty, it will basically skip the empty lines. This is why I put this if line, right? If line, and then I want to obviously pick up from the line separated by the comma. So I want to say date, time, what was that? Temperature, and then there was a LOC location, right? I want to call it LOC, and then I'll say line dot split, right? Line dot split with what? Comma. So what I'm doing on this one is what I'm doing. Okay, let me actually move this at the bottom, right? What I'm doing for this one is this one here is I'm picking up. We can come back to that later, right? I'll remove this one as well, right? So let's step by step do. So what I'm doing here is I'm picking up these with separated by commas and I'm putting it into first date, then time, then temperature, then location. So what would happen is every line will be split with a comma. The first data will go into date, second temperature, and these are the variables. So basically this date will go into first when the loop runs first time, this will go into the date, this will go into the time, this will go into the temp, and this will go to the LOC. So this is how I am going to split with the, and I said split with the comma. What did I say? Split with the comma, and in the comma I have to put this here like this, right? So split with a comma. If there was a dash here like this, dash like this, yeah? If there was a dash, then I could split with the dash here. I could say split with the dash, right? Like this. But because there is no dash, there's a comma, so I will split with the comma, no problem. All right? Split with the comma, no issue at all. So here I'm going to split with the comma here. Now what would happen is I will get these four variables. I'll pick, now what I'm doing is I'm picking up line by line all these 5 lines, and in the each iteration of this loop I will put data into date, time, temp, and location. And then next thing I want to do is I want to add that to that dictionary, right? Which dictionary? Y dictionary, right? So I want to say Y, right? And then I want to do key to Y dictionary, and the key should be location. This location has to be the key, right? Because I want a user will enter the key. This location will be the key, and user will enter the key and it will get date, time, and temperature, right? If you want to make the time key, then it will give you date, time, and temperature, a location. Or you can say on that date give me time, temperature, and location. Yeah, that could do as well, but we want to make location as our main primary key. All right, and then here what we're doing is we're saying date, same way as we previously defined the dictionary. Date is what now? Date is this variable, right? So this variable, okay? So date value, date is the key, and the value is date dot strip. Why? Because I want to strip any empty spaces with the date. Similarly, I want to do the time, right? I want to do the time, and with the time I want to do what? I want to do time dot strip as well, okay? And then I want to do location I want to do the full location here, right? Like this. Full spelling. LOCATION. And with the location, what I want to do, no, not here, here. With the location, I want to do LOC dot strip. No, location is there, by the way. I don't need location. I need date, time, and temperature, temp. This one I'll do caps, temp, like this. And here will be temp dot strip. Now, what is happening here? I'm defining a dictionary. I'm opening a file. I'm reading each line in that file. I'm stripping any empty spaces in the beginning and end of the file. If file is not if line, sorry, I do this again. What I'm doing is I'm opening a dictionary, empty, opening a file, picking up each line one by one through this loop. If line, I remove the empty spaces beside the line. If line is not empty, if line mean if it is not empty line. Sometimes what could happen is the line could be empty. How a line could be empty? Like this. Look at this. This is location. Maybe line could be empty like this. The second line is empty now. So it will return false here. It will not go under this for second line. It will run the next iteration of loop. Right? So that's why we want to make sure it doesn't pick up any empty lines. Right? So, and then it picks up the date, time, temperature, location and split it with comma and put into the Y dictionary, which we previously did as well. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now, what next we want to do? That's it. That's it. Nothing less, nothing more. Our job is done. Now, we're going to ask the user to enter the location, right? Location. We're going to say user underscore location, right? User will enter the location. We'll just ask the user to enter location. How? Like this. Enter location. Okay. And when the user enter location, what do? We see if the location, user location, is inside Y. If the location is in Y, okay, I mean what is going to happen is it's going to pick up all these Paris, Berlin and all that Madrid and put into location here, this one, right? And this location become the key and you'll search if it's in Y. What should you do? You should do info, right? Right? You should do info and Y sub user location. So what would happen is you will pick up that user location, put it into info, and all you want to do is you want to print that info by saying date. All right, you want to say date. Okay, here we go, date, comma, info sub with this date. Then I want to do what time for that location. Okay, here we go, and that will be info sub time, right? Info sub time. That would be time would be like this with T capital, because what we're doing here is we're picking up this time, right? So it's a T capital. Okay, and the last one would be what was that third one? Temp. You can full spelling. Temperature is equal to, and here info sub, it's not full spelling, is it? I mean just temp. Why? Because we are picking up which temperature here? Temp. This one, my friend, which we entered there. This one here, right? Now with this one, we are done this, right? So now if I run this, let's see if I get this, right? I get this. Error as usual, right? Let's see what the error is. It's a date strip. Perhaps you forgot a comma. Yep, always 9, line number 9 here. There was supposed to be a comma here. I'm sorry, comma here, and there's no comma here, right? Now, here you go. Okay, there's another error, and that is location, file location dot txt, right? L capital, because see here, this is L small, whereas our actual file is L capital. You see the name of here? I'll show you here. This is the file. You see on the left hand side, L capital location.txt, right? Here L capital, as you see, but here I'm putting small. That's why I'm getting error. So I'll have to put here L capital, because file name should be exactly same. Now location is not defined. Location is not defined. Why? Because it has to be within the bracket. It has to be within the bracket, not like this, within the bracket. I forgot the bracket as well. Now here we go, finally. Right, so what I want to say, I want to say what temperature you want to see. You want to see temperature for Berlin, Berlin. So what is the temperature? 24.1 on that date on 1600. So let's see, Berlin, Berlin. Here we go. See, it said on Berlin 20, yeah, 25th 1600, temperature 20. I can even write down here in Berlin. I could say here, see, in info on and comma, and this would be what, user location comma. Now it'll say info on Berlin, on which date and all that stuff. Not Berlin, whatever I enter actually, it'll say info on. So if I say Berlin, it'll say info on Berlin. The info on Berlin, date, blah blah blah. If I put here something else, London, it will do the London temperature. And for London, this is London temperature. But if I put a row here there's no Riyadh, right? If I put here Riyadh, it will not print anything. Why? But so what I want to do is I want to say else here. I want to do else here, right? Okay, else say the city not found, right? City not found in dictionary data, and city not found, that's it, mark it. Now if I do Riyadh, it'll say city not found. Here we go, Riyadh, city not found. All right, perfect. Now this is how this is how the whole location thing is going to work, right? Now this is one way of doing it. And remember in the last day, in the last lecture, we also had this temperature file, temp, right? Temperature file, another file, temperature, and in which we wanted to do listing, right? So we wanted to do the same thing using list, right? And how do we do with the list? We pick up these data lines and append it into a list rather than this. So what I'll do is I'll actually, okay, one question will be on the list and one question will be on the dictionary. So in one question I'll ask you to do something with the list, and one question I'll ask you something with the dictionary, right? So maybe I can even put the same thing, I can change the code here and do the same thing with the list, right? How do I do with the list? First, all these four things and the location, all this data I'm picking up, I need to first create four lists, right? So what I'll do here is, instead of this top one, right, I'm gonna do empty date. Okay, small, I'll do small one, date, like this. Okay, then I'll do time, dates. I will say dates with s, because there will be multiple dates, times with s, right? And then I'll do temperature, temps with s, right? And finally I will do locations, logs. I will say logs with s. Now I will work with the same file, right? Just to keep and that means I don't need to change any code here. I will open the file same way. I will read through each line of this file, right? Each line of this file same way, strip it, and I will pick up this same way with the comma separated. So it will give me all that into this. Only thing I need to change is I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this in the dictionary, am I? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into into these lists, right? So I will rather remove this here, this one, okay, and do what then? I will instead of date, this becomes dates, right? Dates with s, right? And then dot append, okay. And what do I do? Date dot strip, rest will remain same, right? Date dot strip. So here what I did is I just basically dates I'll put there. Then I'm gonna do times with small, right? Remember that times here, this top one is small, so times small letters, right? And dot append, okay? And I'm going to do time dot strip here, like this, time dot strip, no problem, right? With I don't need a more comma here. And the final one is basically temps dot append, because I'm doing now, I'm doing list, so I'll do the append, right? And the final one is logs, right? Dot append, and in that I will do this one log, this one log, loc dot strip. I don't want to have any spaces, so that's why strip, right? And I remove this one here. See, all I did is change this part of the code. So what I changed so far, I changed in the previous one, I changed this one and I changed this one. Why? Because this is list, so I created list instead of dictionary, and in the list you put the data in the pen, the rest is same, right? And now I'm gonna ask the user about to enter the location, and I want to basically print the temperature same way as I was printing earlier on. So if user enter location, what I need to do is now I need to see if the user location is in locations. User location in what? Location. Logs. What do you mean logs? By logs I mean, let me show you which logs. Right? By log I mean this log. You see, because user will enter the location, so I need to see in this location if the user location is there, because this location will be added to this location list, right? So I need to check, it will pick up this London, Paris and put into the what? The location. So the way it's gonna work is now it's gonna create 4 lists, right? Instead of 1. Okay? Like this, 4 lists. This is not a dictionary, it's a list. It'll create 4 lists. So this first list would be dates, right? I'll put here, I can't put the whole dates, but okay, maybe I will. D, I'll put D. The second is times, right? This is times. Okay. Third list is temps. So I will put TE, temp. Okay. And the last one is logs, right? I'll put L here. Now, what I'll do is pick up data from the file and put it line by line like this, right? So what you need to do is 0, 1, 2, this is list, right? 2, 3. So you need to look into the last location one and see the what is the index of that. For example, if index is 2 and you're looking for, let's say, London, right? So then the time for that would be in temperature sub 2, time sub 2, and first one date sub 2. So you need to find out the actual index of it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the index. So if I say if, I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this. I say idx is index. So if user entered the location, if it is inside the logs, right? I would say what is the logs dot, I would say log dot index, okay, of what? Whatever user enters the location. Give me the index of it. Once I got the index, then I need to do is just print it. What do I print? I print, I say info on, and then I say log sub idx, comma, then I say date, then I say dates sub index idx, then I say time, T with T is capital, time, and I say comma times sub idx, and then finally I say location I don't need to, I need a temp. Yeah, I need temp. Temp, temp, temperature. I'll put a full one, right? And that will be temps sub idx. Now, what I'm doing is I'm basically getting the index, all right, getting the index, and then I'm printing that index whatever in the index, because all these logs and dates and all these lists will have that information there. So let's run it and see if we get it right or not, right? So here we go, here we go, run it, let's run it. Only one way to find out, let's run it, right? Ah, okay. So dates dot append date, that probably is a wrong data strip. What is it say? Unexpected indentation problem. No problem, no problem. So this has to be here, my friend, not there. Indentation has to be right, otherwise it won't run. Yeah, here we go. Now if I run it, here we go, I say location London, right? Now in London here, this location, the first line, right? So it'll pick up all this and print it. Let's see if we print it or not. Here we go, perfect. Info on London, date this, time this, 8 o'clock, and temperature 22. Look at this, date, time, temperature, London, right? So it picked up, right? No problem. If I say instead of London, I say, what do you want to say now? You want to pick Madrid, right? And it will be 23.2. No, I want like Rome, actually. Rome is my favorite city. ROME 22.9, right? On 12 o'clock. Let's see what it says. Rome, ROME, Rome. Our location is R. What happened here? Let's run this again. ROME, Rome. All right, Rome, 22.9, temperature 12 o'clock. This is the date, perfect, because that's what our data is, right? You see, it picked up the perfect data. But what if there's a city which is not there, like last time we did? Riyadh is not there, right? So let's run this on the Riyadh then. Riyadh, not there, so it didn't print anything. So we need to go into if part here, else. We need to print here, else. We need to print what? Else we need to print else we need to print what? We need to print city not found, right? Last time we did it. City not found. Here we go. And if I run this now, it will say city not found on Riyadh. Here we go. Okay, can't, city not found. All right, listen. So this is how you do dictionary. There's one thing, another thing I explained in my last lecture. That was a condition. Now I want to, let's say I want to print a temperature between certain numbers. So for example, look at the temperature. I want to say I want to print a temperature between 23 and 24. What is between 23? 22 is not between. This is not between. So I want to print just the temperature. So here I could do that here. That was the last thing I taught to the student in the class. So I want to do this. So I want to say temps in, I could say T in temp. What is temps? Temps is my, remember temps, which is, what is temp? Look at this. This is temps, right? This is where you put the temperature, your list, temps. And I want to say if temperature is between 23, right, like this, temperature and temperature less than 24, temperature greater than 23, less than 24, you can do this like this, all right, no problem. It says if temperature greater than 23, temperature less than 24, do what? Print the temperature, print the T, not temps, T. Yeah, because it's a T here, for T in temp. So if T is greater than 23, 24, so you'll only print the temperature between 23, 24, which is 22 is not. So look at this, look at this. How many temperature you will print? 1, 2, 3, 3 temperatures. All right, let's run it then. First I have to do this location thing, isn't it? So let's do, yeah, it's city not found. Oh no, what happened here? T less than it says this not supported between instances. Not supported between instances. What you mean? Instances of integer. Oh, integer. Because that is not integer, my friend. That is basically this t is not integer, so I have to convert it into integer because t is a string, all right? I have to convert it into integer, otherwise it won't work. And now it works. Aha. They say location, you want to say yes. Right. Invalid with base. Float, it should be float actually. Yeah, because it should be float. It should be float, isn't it? Not this. Float, because it's a floating point. It should be float, not sorry, it should be float. Now it should be okay. There we go. See, 23 and 23, there are two actually, greater than 23 and less than 24, because this one is actually not less than 24, this one. So only this one and that one is less than 24 and greater than 23, so that's why it's printed two temperatures. So with this, see, we put it a condition as well. By the way, this is what something I explained during the class, right? So in the exam, I will give a similar question with the list, with the location, and I'll ask you to actually do something, and I'll also ask you to find data in some list with some condition like this, right? Like this. So that's pretty much it. I wish you all good luck with your exam, all right? Thank you so much for listening.